it's time to start morning coffee. So let's get started. It's Wednesday, September 2nd, and I can't believe how quickly that has gone. I can't believe that it's September already. It's amazing. We are into our second full week of school. We had the 2 days at the start when we started the Thursday and Friday full week last week. So we're into our second full week. And from what I have seen, online school is starting to really pick up and get rolling. I've been invited into several classes and really enjoyed that. Overall, things are going really well. We like to start all of our meetings by sharing our mission statement. Anchorage Dream Academy empowers students to be involved learners, critical thinkers, and engaged citizens who are inspired by the natural world. All right, what's on our agenda today is we're going to do this pretty early on to honor our teachers' time. They've got lots to do on Wednesdays. They're very busy on Wednesdays. We have one of our sixth grade cohort teams that will present and share and talk about what's going on. So that's something that's new. I talked about it last week in Morning Coffee. Each week, pretty much every week of the quarter, and then we'll start over second quarter again, we have one of our cohort teams scheduled to join us for Morning Coffee, and they'll just do a quick summary rundown of the exciting things they're doing, and then have some time for those of you that have students in that group to ask them questions, connect, share resources, and just talk about what's going on. So today we have one of our awesome sixth grade teams with us. We have Miss Kodelman and Miss Gable. They're doing our language arts and social studies sixth grade group right now, and they are going to be on deck first. We're going to put them on here shortly and let them talk about what's happening in sixth grade social studies and language arts. And I'm really excited for that. They're doing some really cool things. They invited me into one of their classes. I got to join. It was really neat. So I'm very excited for that. We also have an APC meeting next week, and I want to talk about that because we have open seats. We actually end up with a lot of open seats for various reasons on our APC. We have, just like our students matriculate on from 8th grade into high school, we have parents who are in parent seats, and then their students move on and those seats open up. And we also have a couple of our community seats open. So we'll talk about that and let you know what it looks like to run for one of those seats and how to go about that. We have our counselor, Miss Bonertz, with us. Say hi, Miss Bonertz. And she wants to talk a little bit about self-care. And so self-care is something we talk a lot about at Stream. First, probably internally with our teachers. Our teachers work so hard. They're so dedicated and they're so amazing. And we worry that, we want to make sure people are also able to take care of themselves and balance all of the things that are going on right now. But Ms. Bonertz talks with students a lot as our counselor about self-care. And today she wants to talk with you, with parents, about those work, life, school balances and this whole strange new world of working from home and having students doing school from home and trying to manage your students, doing school online and all of that. So she's going to talk about self-care a little bit today. So those are the main things that we want to touch on today. I think that's a good place for me to just stop with our good mornings and turn it over to our sixth grade cohort, Miss Kodelman and Miss Gable. Thank you so much for joining us. We're glad to have you on. We're excited to hear about the sixth grade ELA and social studies.
Good morning, everybody. I'll start. I'm Laura Ashley Kodelman. I teach the sixth grade ELA class, and last week we spent time engaging with our induction week stuff, and it was really great to just get to know the kids, and we got to play some games. I got some really nice feedback from the kids, and it was really nice to see that we still are making connections online. It isn't the same, and I'm not using live classes as our yardstick for success. If I try that, I don't think that we will be very happy, but I think that in this new situation, getting to know kids online, it's happening, and I'm writing them feedback and we're playing games. this week on Monday and Tuesday, we started our reading goals. And part of the things that we do at Stream is we try to read for reading's sake. I allow students to pick their own books out. I allow students to engage with literature in a way that's authentic. I don't assign reading logs. I don't assign book reports or reviews or extra skill work on top of their leisure reading. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be engaging. There's a quote in a book that I read that's reading is not a duty and therefore has no business to be made disagreeable. And my reading philosophy is kind of framed around that. So the kids today explored, well, what habits do skilled readers keep, and what habits and mindsets do they keep? And we brainstormed a bunch. They imagine while they're reading. They pick out books they like. They understand how to find books. They explore new genres. They talk to other people, and every student set a reading goal. I'm challenging them to read 30 books. That's the quantitative goal. The qualitative goal is their own, and they get to 30 books for the year, and they get to pick whatever they want. So that's really exciting. And we'll be doing reading conferencing. I'll conference with every student at least once a week, because the first session of our class is 30 minutes of reading time. They come to the Zoom, and it's really cute. You see this grid of sixth graders all like curled up with their books early in the morning. And so we spend 30 minutes reading, and I'll be using that time to go into breakout rooms and check in with kids on their goals and ask what they're reading and who they are as a reader. So that's really exciting. And then starting Thursday, we're beginning a unit on avoiding plagiarism. We'll be practicing summarizing and paraphrasing in order to use our research information accurately and honestly. So we'll have some really good digital citizens, because this also connects to what Miss Gable is doing in her social studies class. So I'll let her go ahead and do her thing.
All right, thank you. So yes, I'm Stephanie Gable. I'm the social studies teacher. And as Ms. Coleman was saying about induction week, we also did induction week last week. It was a lot of fun. The kids had a blast. And this week, we're getting those good skills set up so that when we get into the social studies content, they will be good researchers and learners. So what we're talking about mainly this week is how to use Google and other search engines, how to use that in a way that they're not just typing in full sentences into the search bar. They're using keywords, and they're figuring out, ooh, how do we refine this search and use the tips and tricks to get the information we want and not just get a whole bunch of information. We're also talking about what types of sources make good sources, and how do we check those sources and make sure that they're valid information. We're going to be talking about how to tell a site that has information and research from one that's an opinion. So we're going to be talking about telling those sites from one another. And so a lot of this week is about finding sources and the research for future projects so that they're getting ahead on that. And they're actually having a lot of fun with it. We have a lot of interactive games that they do to find that research and to use those skills that they're learning.
That's a lot of information packed into the first week in a couple of days. If you're, as an observer that's watching what you guys are doing, I have to say it's been really impressive. I'm also really proud of the level of communication coming out of Stream. We talk at Stream a lot about how in any organization, if you ask any organization does a survey of the people they serve and the people within the organization, the number one thing that always comes up is communication. So we always remind ourselves, no matter how well we do at communication, we can always do better. No matter how well we do, there's always going to be feedback that says you could do it this way and do it better, or this didn't quite work for me. And so, that being said, I'm really impressed with how hard they're working at communicating and getting all this information. Is so much information. There's so much new, and there's so much information, and the way teachers are working to get it out to parents and students is really pretty awesome. I'm really proud of that.
And this is why I'm really glad that we did the induction week stuff too, because students are trying to learn a bunch of stuff right now also. Yeah, and so trying to learn like complex content at the same time of learning a new medium is just going to be too much on their brain bandwidth. So
They're
yeah.
learning a whole new way of doing school. And really, we keep saying, I think, it's so important to us to make the point, what we did last spring in emergency triage, shifting to virtual, distance learning, and what we're doing now at the start of the school year is so totally different. And this is much more nuanced and complex. So yes, questions for Miss Gable, Miss Kotelman, for our 6th grade ELA social studies teachers, or just comments, anything that you folks would like to share with them. We have one question from Miss Forsyth. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, hi Becky.
I just want to thank you for doing such a great job of engaging them digitally, because I've heard it. And Samuel, he's not wanting to start school, and he's putting on those Zooms and just participating and being a really active learner. And I just think that thanks to you too. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Samuel's such a cool kid. We love having him.
I'm glad.
So our induction week, I think, was a huge success, and it was born out of what we did last year, which was basically an induction week face to face. And Miss Kotelman, I have to give her credit, took the lead in organizing and designing that last year, and was really awesome. And so this year, she's one of the people I tapped over the summer to say, hey, I know you're on summer break. Can you please do some work for us to help us get ready for the start of the school year for this brave new world? And so she took on largely, and there are folks that helped her. I don't want to not give credit. I know Miss Bonertz did a lot of work to help her, and others. Miss Kotelman took that leadership role for designing this induction week. And frankly, there's no way I could have done it and nearly the level as, and I'm being honest, nearly the level she did it. Like she did it. If I had done it, it would have been not nearly as good as what she designed, because she's just super awesome organizationally and creative that way. So
obsessive, keyword obsessive.
The work she did to design our induction week is really awesome. She designed lessons and activities and the structural and the format for our entire staff to access, and gave them a lot of, we're big on giving choice. I try to model that. We talk about giving teachers a lot of autonomy and a lot of flexibility. And she modeled that and said, here are optional lessons you can do. Here's a menu you can pick from. Here's a script you can use for the, this piece. Just really put a lot of work into induction week. So I have to give her credit. Thank you so much, Ms. Kotelman. You're an awesome asset to our school.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
I want to talk a little bit about our APC. And I know I have to try to remind myself that every one of these morning coffee meetings is somebody's first time. It's somebody's first or second time hearing some of this. It's somebody's first or second time engaging. And so I have to constantly remind myself not to assume too much, not to assume our language and our terms and our structures are known to everyone. So just a quick step back, the APC stands for Academic Policy Committee. And it's the Anchorage School District's way of saying the school board of a charter school. It's really a school board, and it operates very much the same way as the school district school board is. You could see why they wouldn't want to use that language, because we have one school board for the Anchorage School District. That would be confusing. But they operate very much in the same way, in that the APC, one of their primary roles is they're my boss. They, unlike regular schools where a principal's boss is someone sitting at district office and then on up and on up, and within the structure of the school district, the school board oversees the superintendent. That's the same. The APC plays the same role with charter schools, and this is the same. I'm explaining this for all charter schools in Anchorage, really. So the APC oversees the principal, and I report directly to them. And so they're sort of the holders of the big picture, right? Mission and vision, and those they approve our budget, which is another major function, and they help to kind of keep us on track with our mission and our vision and the big picture operations of the school. So that's what they do. The APC, I love how our APC is designed at Stream. It is a mix of educators, our founders, parents and guardians, and also community members who are not parents and guardians. So it brings a lot of balance. Our founders are, I think something that's unique about Stream is our founders we're all educators. They were all working in, a lot of them at the time at Begich, and a couple of our founders are still on the board, Whitney Diatri and Anjanelle Brown, who are educators. And so we have an educator, parent, community perspective on our board, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I think very well balanced. So due to a variety of circumstances, parents sort of graduating out because their kids are now in 9th grade, and also just people, moving on and changing roles in life and unable to stay on seats, we ended up with a lot more open seats this fall than we normally would have. We normally would have a couple of seats open, but we have a surprising 6 seats open on the APC. And we have a lot of seats on our APC. I think there are like 16 seats or something. So we don't necessarily have to fill all these. We'll still have a full APC, but we would like to fill them. So the seats that are open there are 3 parent seats. One of them's a 2-year seat, and then the others are 1-year seats. They renew every October. So every October we have an election that parents of Stream students vote in. And so a lot of our seats are 1-year seats. So parents, especially if you're unsure or you want to try it for a year maybe, or if you had have an 8th grader and you won't be with us next year, can jump on those 1-year seats. If you have a 6th grader especially, I'd encourage you to consider, or 7th grader, I'd encourage you to consider that 2-year seat. And then we have 3 community seats, non-faculty, non-parent community seats that are open right now. And one of those, and we only have 1 incumbent for all of these seats. Seat F, we have an incumbent who's with us today, Jen Mickelson. Can you wave to everybody? And Jen has expressed interest in running for that seat again. So a lot of our APC seats, honestly, and this is fine, we end up with people running unopposed. We end up with 1 person who says, I'll run for that seat. So if you're interested in a community seat, we'll spread that out, and it very well may be that we have 3 people for those 3 seats. So those are the seats that are open. The commitment to the APC is once a month. It's the 2nd Wednesday of the month, and a little maybe positive, dare I say, positive benefit of the pandemic is we now do all our APC meetings at 5:30 p.m. on Zoom rather than at 5:30 p.m. in one of our rooms at Wayland, which is really nice for me because if you know me at all or you follow this at all, I live in Palmer. And so the 5:30 APC meetings usually meant me getting home at 9 or 10 or 10:30 at night on APC nights, which I didn't mind at all. But I also don't mind doing them on Zoom now. So once a month, 2nd Wednesday of the month, 5:30 p.m. Usually they last till at least an hour. Usually till around 8, till 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And what else can we say? Mrs. Bonertz, what else do we need to share about what it means to be on an APC seat? Oh, the last thing I'll share is if you are interested, send an email to me or to Ms. Bonertz. But the one requirement we have, sort of requirement, I think there's a little flexibility there, the APC has, is that you come to an APC meeting prior to express interest. So that would be, this is probably the most important thing anyone who's interested needs to hear. You need to come to the APC meeting a week from today, next Wednesday, and we'll actually give you the Zoom password. We normally have guests participate on YouTube and the members are on Zoom, but we'll give you the Zoom link and password so you can be on the Zoom. And it's not, super high stakes or anything. The APC will just ask you to introduce yourself and maybe say what seat you're interested in or why. And then we'll put you on the ballot for October. Ms. Bonertz, is there anything else we need to share about being on the APC?
I don't think so. I think you got it pretty well covered. The time commitment is not great. What's so wonderful, I think, about being part of the academic policy committee is that you really stay in tune with what's going on in the school community, and you hear we have a teacher liaison, and so you get to hear from the teacher from a teacher what's going on with other teachers. And that's super, super nice and helpful to know what's going on in the school. Another great thing is that you also stay in tune with what's going on with the 501c3, which is the nonprofit arm of our school that helps us with raising funds for the school, potentially a new school building, helping to support some activities in the school, because the 501c3 vice president or vice chair, whatever we call her, that's Jen Mickelson, and she's our liaison between the 501c3 and the APC. And so she can always answer tons of questions about what the 501c3 is doing as well.
So that is the APC. If you're interested in a seat, let us know. We would love to have more parents, and I love that we have those community seats. You don't have to be a staff member. You don't have to be a parent. If you're someone who's been really involved in the STREAM community and just passionate about our school and want to support the school, that we have those opportunities. So let us know and plan on coming to the meeting next week. You will want to shoot an email to Mrs. Bonertz because we'll be able to send you the information for getting on Zoom next week and make sure that we put you on the agenda and recognize you. And yeah, that'll be great. All right, what else anything else we need to say about that? Any questions? I'm sorry. Any questions about the APC or the seats or how that works from anybody? Moving on, we're about halfway through. So I think what I want to do is I want to stop and make sure that we check in with other things parents might have questions on. And Mrs. Smith is with us, our Canvas point person, our Canvas guru. And so we can ask her for, Mrs. Smith, if you want, I know I didn't ask you to prepare for this, you can give a quick update or any Canvas tips you want to share or not. And if you folks, so this would be a good time to do that. And then the second half of the show today, we'll move on to Miss Bonertz and turn it over to her to talk about self-care, which I'm really excited about. So I think first, parents, do you have any general questions that you want to take the opportunity to ask us, or anything you want to share right now before we talk about Canvas and then move on? This actually, morning coffee has been as helpful for me as it has been, I think, for parents, because every time parents get on and offer suggestions or say, what about this, or this didn't work, or how does this work? Really, those questions help everybody else. They help us get better. They help us to refine things that weren't as clear as we thought. So I am super appreciative for all the questions. Don't get me wrong at all. I think it's a sign that things are really smoothing out, that we don't have the level of questions and that type of interaction that we've had the last few weeks. So still, hopefully there's some questions out there. Jessica Sully, I see you have a question. Go ahead. What can we do? Hi.
Good morning, Miss. I am just thinking about iReady. And I've hunted through my 3,000 emails trying to figure out which of my kids, the only one I'm sure about is my kindergartner. And Dallas, I know, needs to do it soon, but I'm wondering if you can guide me if there's a way we could get started early, or does he have to start that with his cohort? Can we do a little bit of it today so that it's not quite so much? I've been watching even my kindergartner do it, and it is a lot of information I can only imagine by 7th grade. So can you guide me a little bit on that?
Sure. I think Mrs. Smith has an answer for you. This is one of those points where I'm always so glad our teachers join us, because they're on the ground actually doing iReady, and all I did was take a training on and so they know way more about it than me right now. I could stumble through that answer, but I think Mrs. Smith can give you probably a really good, accurate answer.
Yeah, I can help you. You said 7th grade, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna let Ms. Kodelman answer if it was 6th grade, but yeah, for iReady, we have most teams at this point have done several live Zoom sessions in which we have guided them through the diagnostic for reading and math. And at this point, some of them, like you're saying, it's more massive than they told us it would be. 2 45-minute sessions was not enough. We did on the 8th grade level, we did 3 45-minute sessions, and some students are still in just the reading or just the math. So yes, we guided our students and released them and said, please finish this up up on Wednesday and or at your own time. So yes, they can do it. They log into iReady. The best pathway is by clicking on Clever, which you might be familiar with. So they click on Clever, they get to iReady, and it'll immediately tell them, hey, you need to finish this diagnostic or this one. And it's reading and math that they need to finish. And then after that, it'll assemble that information automatically and give them the lessons. But yes, finish on your own. Yes.
Fabulous. Thank you very much.
Yes. And just a note about Canvas, you can definitely ask a question in chat. I'm there. I'm looking at the chat actually mostly, or you can raise your hand or unmute here. For Canvas, one of the most important things you can do as a parent role is be the parent observer. So if you have not yet signed up to be, I guess I use the term signed up to be parent observer, but the process isn't exactly a signing up thing. But right now, if you haven't yet, be a parent observer on your child's Canvas account. Go to asdk12.org, click on parents, and there is Canvas information right there for you that tells you how to sign up as parent observer.
That's, again, I think that's a really good sign, Ms. Smith. There were lots of questions last week about Canvas for you and the week before. And I think I'm going to take this as a sign that we are communicating well. Another thing I say about communication at Stream is, sometimes we worry about over communicating. And I always say, like, if that's the mistake we make, and every once in a while I'll get an email about too much communication, I'll live with that. If we err, that's where I want us to err. If we get some backlash, that's the backlash I want. You guys are communicating too much. Then I say, I'm really sorry. And, we'll do our best. And also I am thinking in my head, okay, that's good, because communicating too much is a much better problem to have than people are like, I don't know what's going on. So I think we're communicating pretty well about all this stuff. I'm happy with that, and we'll keep that up.
Yeah, and comment in the chat saying, I love the Canvas parent app on my phone. Yes, as a teacher, I love the Canvas teacher app on my phone. It's like so fast to grade now. And the same thing for parents. So easy to see everything. You see everything your child sees. And one note, most teachers are starting content this week, moving out of that, what Ms. Kohlman was describing, the social emotional learning and induction week activities, and moving into content. And, we have mess ups and links don't work and all this. And there can be some frustration, of course, on the students' part with using Canvas. But we want you, teachers are doing everything we can to resolve those issues. And the students are amazingly resilient, and they are just giving us all kinds of positive appreciation, and they understand that we're trying our best to work with them. But I want you to know, I've heard from other schools, and we're doing above and beyond in customer service with helping those students. So if your student expresses anything to you about having an issue with Canvas or can't click this or something, just contact us on the Remind app. Or email us, but Remind app sends a text message to us, and we're going to resolve right away. We want to do everything that we can to take the pressure off of you as the parent, and to do that education job as much as we can in the virtual learning.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I appreciate that. And I'm so thankful that you've been our Canvas point person. Ms. Kotelman, you have something to share?
Yeah, before I moved on from iReady, I wanted to mention something about sixth grade iReady stuff. So sixth graders are all done with their iReady exams. So, their diagnostic, so they should be ready to use the individualized instruction on iReady today. Ms. Gable and I sent out an email, again, over communicating. There were several students who were not done with their diagnostic. So I encourage you to check in with your child. And if they are not done, they can log in the exact same way and finish it this Wednesday. That can be their e-learning activity. Some of them were working really hard to make sure we had the most clear and accurate depiction of the diagnostic data. So yeah, iReady is going to be a little interesting, and we're also learning. But from what I can see, the individualized learning is really nice. So, like Ms. Smith said, just ask us questions. No question's too small.
Thank you, Ms. Kotelman. I love the blend that we are achieving of individualized instruction, individualized learning that students can do independently and work at their own level, their own pace and progress, along with the synchronous classes and the direct instruction and the projects and assignments that teachers are doing to keep everyone moving. So it's a really nice balance, I think. The other very individualized learning piece that all of our students have, except a small handful of students that are doing a special math program. So the vast majority of our students have an online math curriculum called ALEX. We've used ALEX since we opened the school 5 years ago. And ALEX is very good. It's robust. It's Common Core aligned. It's used by universities. I just saw an ALEX website one of our teachers shared with me on the Baylor University page, instructing their students on how to do their college classes on ALEX. We have, whenever I plug ALEX, I love to share with parents, one of our favorite ways to use ALEX is to advance in math. And for the higher level math. So we have students who jump to pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, and even algebra 2. We've had students, and one student right now, do algebra 2. And we have those higher level maths. We have spot checked those every year. We've quality checked those every year. When we have a student complete a higher level math class on ALEX, we've had them take the ASD district high school final exam. So they're in middle school. They haven't had the ASD high school geometry course and instruction the way that ASD has designed it and taught it. They've done it on ALEX. And we give them the final exam, not for a grade, but just to quality check. We give them that final exam cold to quality check that. And our students have passed those final exams at 80% or better every time we've given them to them. So what that tells me is ALEX, if it's used as your math curriculum, if it's done with fidelity and it's done well and students are dedicated, ALEX can be a robust standalone math curriculum. That's not how we've used it primarily. How we've used it as a supplement to your math class and your math instruction. We've used it alongside with teaching your regular math class. But just know that ALEX is that robust and it's that high quality, Common Core aligned. It's used nationally by schools and universities all over the country, and so it's a quality program. So what we're doing right now, because we're in the cohort quarter model, half of our students don't have math first quarter. That's the way that this has been set up to balance these cohorts. However, we want every student in our school working on math, and so for those that don't have math first quarter, it's especially important to work to have math to work on, to be able to continue to progress in your math skills until you get to math second quarter. So all of our students, or the vast majority of our students, have an ALEX account. I think they all have, they should have all gotten the basic information of your ALEX username and password to log in. All of our students should have either already done this or be doing it really soon, to go to ALEX. Today would be a great day on Wednesdays. Log in, and the first thing you do in ALEX is an initial knowledge check. What I love about this is you can test out of a class. And so Miss Staker had all of her sixth graders and all of Miss Kotelman and Miss Gable's sixth graders do their ALEX initial knowledge check. And the cool thing is, and this really excites me, she emailed me a list of 5 or 6 sixth graders who had tested almost all the way out of sixth grade math. And so what the discussion for us is let's move them to pre-algebra. So that's one of the ways that our sixth graders can get into pre-algebra, which is really exciting. And so those students who, took the initial knowledge check and they passed through 50, 60, 70% of the content, then we say, okay, finish up the rest of sixth grade math, in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to put you in pre-algebra. And so that's really exciting. It's really exciting that students can work at their own pace. If you have a student that locks in and gets into math, or they really want to be advanced, they can work through the ALEX class we place them in as quickly and as much as they want, and we don't hold them back. So as soon as they finish the ALEX class they're in, we move them to the next level. So if you have a student doing pre-algebra on ALEX, and they finish that, we move them right into algebra. So it's a way to accelerate and really move forward in math. And our goal at Stream since day one has been that for all of our students to get through algebra at least, which is a high school course. And really, I have a reasons for that. That's based on a lot of research I've read, which says that in high school and then especially in college, basic algebra 1 is a gatekeeper class. It is the biggest screener and weeder out of lack of better words, of students in college. It's the #1 stumbling block of college freshmen is algebra. And it's also a really difficult class, can be a really difficult class in high school, because not only is algebra challenging, but if your students go on to one of the big high schools, they might have 30, 32 students in their algebra class. They don't get the intention and the direct instruction and support that they're really going to need. And oftentimes in those big high schools, your freshmen might be in one of those algebra class with sophomores or juniors who are repeating it. And so it really changes the tenor of that class. And it can be much more difficult. It can be a real stumbling block. So my heart soars every time our students, even if it's in 8th grade, get through algebra, because I know we've just taken away one of the gatekeeper classes, one of those stumbling blocks of high school and even of college. And man, Miss Bonertz can probably speak to this better than me. I don't know how to explain how big of an advantage it is for a high school freshman to go into geometry instead of algebra. It is such a nice jump in high school. It will make your the rest of your high school life easier, especially as a freshman. So that's my plug for Alex. Students should have those accounts already, and really encourage everyone to bug your kids a little bit. Make sure they're working on Alex independently. Make sure they're making some progress through that, and talk to the teachers about it. That was a long plug for Alex, I'm sorry. I'll take a pause and take a look at the chat. Miss Gatlin, I know putting you on the spot a little bit. Do you have any updates for us on the things that you're working on, or what's happening in project-based learning world? What's happening with outdoor education and our efforts to organize some of that?
Yeah, if you want to make me a co-host, I can share my screen and share our new wonderful website opportunities brought to you by myself and Miss Sylvia Beyondich, collaborative project. Okay, I'm now the co-host. Let's see here. Me. So, hello everybody. I'm Megan Gatlin, and I am our teacher, expert, instructional coach, project-based learning educator, outdoor adventure. Lots of titles, but I think I've said this before. My favorite part of my job is helping teachers and helping our school get our kids outside. So with that in mind, let's see here. Screen share. Here we go. We decided we needed a way for to communicate with our families and with, let's see, is this working? Can you see my screen? Yes, okay. To communicate some outdoor experiential education ideas while kids are at home learning online. So Sylvia and I helped put together the content. Sylvia built the web page for it. She's our brilliant webmaster. So if you go to, let's see, I'm gonna back out here to our main web page. So here we are at our stream web page. If you click under our program and then outdoor education, this will take you to our new outdoor education page, where we have lots of offerings or opportunities, ideas for you to get kids outside. And so these are things that we would all be doing, that we would be doing with kids if we were face-to-face right now. And as we get deeper into the school year and teachers get deeper into content, a lot of these activities will tie to what teachers are doing in the classes. But right now, some of our outdoor activities that we have suggested is get out in Arnold Muldoon Park. This is the park that is adjacent right to the Wayland Baptist University property. And our kids are out in this park all day, every day. Well, different groups of kids. And so one of the things that the kids do a lot of times is the PE teachers have them run the big loop, or they go on a walk and they just walk the loop. And so there's an idea to get out and walk the loop in our park. Cheney Lake, every year we hike kids over to Cheney Lake from Stream. And once we're there at Cheney Lake, they play. We've done fishing before. They hike around the lake. So there's a couple ideas of things that kids could do at Cheney Lake. A lot of these activities you'll see are close to the stream community. So we're a very place-based school, and we explore our green spaces that are close to us as well as farther away. However, yeah, so I started with some close stuff, except now here I'm getting into the Arctic Valley. So our big trek that we take every year, hold on, is we take all the kids up to Arctic Valley. So there's a couple ideas of things that we can do up in Arctic Valley here, and you can click on these links and this will take you to, I believe the Arctic Valley webpage is this one. The berry picking webpage will take you to, oh, I can't remember what the website was, some well-known berry picking website that was for Alaska. But so we pick berries up there, we hike. This will talk a little bit about the trails up there. And this is the beginning of our outdoor activities suggestions for families. So as well on Wednesdays as e-learning, another really important thing would be getting outside if you can, and exploring some of these places.
I'd like to remind parents that as you visit our website, your browser will remember the last time you were on the website. So make sure that you refresh every time that you go into our website, because we update it so frequently. You're going to want to make sure that you get the most current data. And that new outdoor education channel that's on the Our Program channel at the top of our website will be updated very regularly to have opportunities for groups to meet together if they want to through the cohort connection. You guys could meet together outside of school before we even get a chance to meet together as a school.
I've got my fingers crossed watching the cases, that the cases in Anchorage seem to be going down. They seem to be a lot lower recently. And so I'm really hoping that trend continues. So what that will do is hopefully open up a little more leeway from the district to allow us to do some optional outdoor get-togethers, optional outdoor adventure activities, which is what we really want to do as soon as it's safe. But until then, Miss Gatlin and Miss Bonertz have outdoor things planned and prepared that you can access on the website and check out and share. So appreciate that. I know there's some questions and some comments in the chat about, in general, we're throwing a lot at you. We've talked about that. And so throwing the Alex thing out there is another thing. And so don't worry about that, because that's either really new information or for a couple of you, it might still be coming. I think I heard there might be a couple of people who haven't gotten that information. That will come really soon. And so there's not a hard time requirement on getting going on that for you. So you will, if you haven't, you will get that information to get logged in and spend some time on Alex. And I know it is another thing. So prioritize, of course, the 2 teachers that your child has and those 3 core classes that they're doing. Prioritize accessing those classes on Canvas, those assignments, and getting comfortable with those tools. Sort of like with communication, what we've found is we want to have too much over not enough. I heard 2 major complaints last spring, not just for Stream, but for school in general, from parents. And almost equally, I heard these complaints. And this really speaks to what new school in this situation is like. One of the big complaints I heard was, there's not enough. My child does not have enough to do. There's not enough to keep them busy. I asked them, why aren't you working? They say they're done. Everything's done. And the other equally, complaint I heard equally was, there's way too much. Like they're inundated and there's way too much and we can't keep up and it's overwhelming. There's too much work. So it's really interesting that you hear both of those things equally. And I think both are valid. I think both, can be valid for the same family on the same day. And that's just the balance of trying to understand and access all of this and yet keep up with everything we're throwing out. So I do want to say that the iReady and Alex pieces are intended to keep students engaged and keep them working through math and reading skills offline, and sort of supplementary in addition to what we're doing. And that the primary focus is the classes they're enrolled in, with the 2 stream teachers that are on Canvas that are meeting 4 times a week. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or this is new, or you're like, I don't have time to engage in these other pieces right now because this is still really new. If that's where somebody's at, I would definitely say just default to those 2 teachers that are teaching those classes and start there. The rest will come. So yeah, I wanted to make sure I clarify that. Alex is there to supplement and keep students working on math and be an additional resource for you, but not there to give you something to worry about or another thing right now if you're full. So it'll come. If you haven't heard from, I saw someone saying they hadn't heard anything and they had a 7th grader, I will follow up. Our staff meetings are after these meetings on Wednesdays. I'll follow up with the 7th grade team and see where we're at with rolling out Alex and making sure all our 7th graders have access. And by the end of this week, you definitely should have heard about Alex from teachers and gotten that information. All right. Thank you, Ms. Gatlin, for sharing. Thank you for, is there anything else I missed? If there's anything else I missed in the chat, feel free to jump in. Let's switch gears and turn it over to Ms. Bonertz and talk a little bit about self-care. Ms. Bonertz?
Okay, so first things first, I do kind of want to talk about, but I have a little activity that we did with the students. They loved it. So I hope that you enjoy this as well. Let's see here. Let me get it up and going. So it's called a Menti, and I want you to, can everybody see this? In what ways do you take care of yourself? Menti, cool. So I am going to go ahead and start it. What I want you to do is just go to www.menti.com. And then on the top, there's a code 404297.8. And you type that in the code and just in one word, what ways do you take care of yourself? And this is going to populate everybody's answers. And it's just really fun to do. So I'm just going to give just a few minutes, maybe like 2 minutes for folks to do this. Teachers that have done Mentimeter, this is my first time. This will just start populating, right? Yes, okay, thanks, Ms. Kotelman, thank you. So I'm really excited, and I am also going to do it too. Cool. Looks like exercise so far is the biggest. So as this populates, it's kind of showing what, some of the popular things. And so we can see that exercise and reading are big ones in our group, which is awesome. Ooh, I like running, meditation, comedies. Thank you. I like to go to anything Chris Farley has ever done. Always makes me laugh. Breathing, good, walking, journaling, what else we have? Fresh air, talking, praying, that's great. Meditation, eat well, journaling. Ooh, I love this. Ooh. Okay, 30 more seconds. Friends, eat well, outside, outdoors, lots of that. Very cool, very cool. So it sounds like a lot of our parents have already thought about this. Ooh, podcasts. I'm a big podcast person as well. So very cool. Thank you so much. So it sounds like you guys have already kind of started thinking about it. And one of the things that it seems like a no-brainer, but it's really hard to help our students when we haven't taken care of ourselves, right? It's hard to pour from an empty glass. And so our students in middle school, they are going through really awkward age. I know that you are all experiencing tween behavior, and I can't imagine what it's like during COVID. So recognizing these kinds of things is really, really important. And I want to share with you that I have on my website, and I know a lot of parents have already looked on my Canvas page. I have a lot of things on my Canvas page to help students go through this. And so if you ever feel like your kid is just needs a minute, encourage them to go on my website. And I have my Canvas page. And on my Canvas page, I have my website. And so here's my website that this is also on the stream page that you can access. So okay, homepage, and I just added, just by the way, September is National Suicide Prevention Month, so that's something to think about. I'll mention it a little bit more next week in our parent coffee, because next week is actually National Suicide Prevention Week, and the 10th, which I think is next Thursday, is actually National Suicide Prevention Day. So there's some things on there, but what I want to focus on a little bit more is I have family resources here on my webpage that have lots of good things just about like COVID and dealing with stress, and again, like suicide awareness, things like that. But the one I really want to focus on is student resources. I had my students, when I gave them all an assignment to access my Canvas page, flip through my virtual office, check out some things. I have some games on there. I have some good tips on there. I have my website on there. I have my contact information on there. And then my calendar where students can make a practice appointment with me. I really want to encourage parents to have their students do that, because I'm going to have appointments in there, and it's just always good to have another person that they can talk to, you know, even if it's just like, I'm so frustrated with technology, or I'm having a hard time finishing my work, or I'm bored. So really anything, I want them to do that. But on the student resources page, this is something that if you kind of find yourself lacking ideas of, you know, to try to calm yourself down or do self-care, this is something really great that's for parents as well, but also kind of cool to do if you want to do with your children. So I have stress relief tips here, getting your steps, get outside together, activities to relieve stress. So do something nice, write a letter and send it in the mail. It'll get there probably by Friday or December in there, maybe. Walk your pet, dance, play a board game, do an art project, journal. I have a lot of meditation videos here. They're all really short. I think they're all 10 minutes or less. Same with these yoga videos. They're short. I think they're like 15 minutes or less, just to get a good stretch in. I have a great wellness toolkit here that has lots of good things to stay healthy and stay mentally healthy. And then just take time for fun. I had my students, when I gave them the assignment to go onto my website, a lot of kids really liked that list of fun things. And I also had a lot of kids go, I'm really glad that you told me that I should sleep. I really like sleeping. So that's good. Everybody really needs their rest. So I do want to encourage you all to keep doing those self-care things, because if we don't work as educators, as parents, then it's really hard for the kids to work as well. And so it's good to just stay strong for yourself, and then also for your friends, for your family, and things like that. So please feel free to go on my website at any time and use it, and encourage your students to do that assignment, so that way they are you know, they have good access to me and they know how to reach me. And just having another adult in our building is really is going to be really beneficial. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows I'm here to help in any capacity. Okay, so keep staying strong, exercising, praying, meditating, reading, all those things to stay mentally healthy. So well done, parents.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Bonertz.
Yeah.
I encourage you parents, if your youngster is struggling in any way, academically, or you know, with, you know, depression, or just, you know, feeling unsettled about things, have them, they just need to talk, have them schedule one of these appointments with Ms. Bonertz. It's a great resource that all of our students can access. And I know our teachers have, you know, some time outside of their direct instruction Zoom sessions. Our teachers have time built in different ways where students can come in and ask questions and get help with the academics and stuff as well. And we work really closely together at Stream. So if, you know, often a child will express, if they're struggling with something, they'll express it to the teacher first, and our teachers pass that on to Ms. Bonertz, and she follows up. She'll call, she'll check in. So really encourage you to use this. If your young person's talking about, you know, they're struggling with anything, hopefully you'll remember this and say, let's set up one of those appointments with the counselor and let you talk to her. So it is 9 o'clock and time flew by as usual on Morning Coffee. Thank you so much, Ms. Kotelman and Ms. Gable, for talking about the 6th grade cohorts. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Mrs. Smith, for sharing about Canvas and always being here to jump in and talk about our online and tech tools. We really appreciate that. And Ms. Gatlin for sharing. Ms. Bonertz, that was awesome. I really appreciate you sharing all the resources and all the great things and supports that you offer. I do want to plug next the coming Morning Coffees for you just really quick. And voila, okay. See if this worked this time. Do you see? Okay. So this is our Morning Coffee agendas coming up. So next week, we have the other half of 6th grade. So if you have 6th graders and you tuned in this week, tune in again next week. We have the other half of 6th grade, Ms. Drager and Ms. Staker, math and science. They'll be talking to you. Next week is our APC meeting on Wednesday. So if possible, we'll have Mrs. Yip, our chair, or another person from the APC talking again about that. Ms. Gatlin will be on. She'll talk a little bit more about project-based learning. But I really want to plug this September 23rd date as well. And if you haven't had a chance already, Mrs. Beyondich and I read a book this summer together that we really loved, that really spoke to my heart. And it's very, very inspiring. It ties very nicely to project-based learning because they talk about, and Miss Jen Mickelson, one of our APC members, has it. This book right here called Passion for Kindness by Tamara Lettner. And we're plugging this just because we loved it and we think it really speaks to awesomeness and goodness, and it's a super cool book. So we reached out to the author like we did last spring with Inspire with Allison Holzer. We reached out to Tamara Lettner. She's an educator. She's been a teacher and an instructional coach. So and we said, hey, we do this little morning coffee show. Would you be interested in coming on and talking about kindness? And so on the 23rd, Tamara Lettner will be on. We're trying to figure out how to do, and teachers who are more tech savvy than me, maybe you can help me come up with a clever way. We're trying to figure out how to do a door prize. And so we ordered some copies of Passion for Kindness, and I'd like to give some away to people who come to morning coffee on the 23rd. So I have to figure out a way to randomize people who are in the room and pick names. So maybe one of you guys can help me with that. Otherwise, I'll just old-fashioned, I'll jot down the names of everyone who's in and on paper and tear them up and pull one out of a coffee mug. So please come to morning coffees, check them out definitely the next couple weeks. In 2 weeks, we have Miss Goodman and Mrs. Smith who are here with us today talking about, there's such exciting things going on in 8th grade. Oh my gosh, those two are on fire with project-based learning. And that's a cheesy pun, but they will talk to you about their FIRE project, which is something that is really exciting. So tune in for that, and then please join us for to meet Tamara Lettner. If you're on Twitter, follow her on Twitter. I think it's at Passion for Kindness, or you just look Tamara Letter, Letter. She's just super inspirational. So that's our plug for things coming up. We have a few of these left, and then they will never be seen again. The next round of mugs or whatever we do will be different. So don't be left out. Jen Mickelson's got hers. Miss Beyondich has hers. We could do one of these as a door prize if we figure out how to do door prizes, Miss Beyondich. I'll pay for the mug. And I say that because they're not school. Sometimes schools have things that we give out, and and we do that. But these are our nonprofit, our APC, not our APC, our nonprofit arm has these. So I will purchase one to give away next week if we can figure out how to do a random drawing. So get your stream mugs. Come next week, come in 2 weeks, get your copy of, you can order it on Amazon now and probably have it in time. Get your copy of Passion for Kindness. And on that note, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the Stream family. We are here to serve. We're here for you, parents. We appreciate you. We know times, this is a difficult world we're living in, and we want your educational experience to be the best it possibly can be. So don't hesitate to call, email, remind, message, whatever you got to do. Reach out to us. There's no question that we, no bad questions, no communication that we're not going to be happy to engage in. So let us know how we can support you. All right, and with that, we'll end the meeting, and I'll stay on in case people want to talk, offline, so to speak, a little bit. So that's morning coffee for today, Wednesday, September 2nd, and have a good morning, everyone. Thank you.